Good. What a good looking group we've got here, and a fabulous night for it. And welcome all of you to Autism Ontario's Beer and Barbecue night. The weather is perfect. You could not ask for a better night. Here we've got a fabulous combination going on, beer and barbecuing. I think that's part of our Constitution. I'm not sure which part of it is, but it has something to do with freedom of speech. Anyhow, we will be moving on. We've got a great night for you. My name is Evan Carter. I'll be your host for tonight's festivities. All the proceeds of tonight are going to the adult support programs and initiatives at Autism Ontario. And we will talk about a little bit more about that as we go through. Right now, I just want to say that Lori Harris of All Sauced is not able to be with us tonight. There was a family emergency that she scooted off to. But coming in and saving us, Craig Nelson of Craft Brand, he immediately got on his phone and got the co-owner of Craft Brand, Chris Goddard. See, you know what? That's what you love about people who love beer, because they know exactly where the other person is going to be. And so Chris Goddard is going to join us for the barbecuing and the beer, and they're going to be talking about that. And I know it's something that it's really great. So before we get into the meat of the evening, you know, I'm sorry, but it had to be said. Silly stuff like that. I want to remind you to all. As soon as I said that, a lot of people just shut down their cameras. Start getting your barbecues ready to cook, and I want you to remind you to get ready to cook, and also to open up beer number 1. So right away, you know it's going to be a fabulous. Yes, thank you, Marg. Marg is ready. Yeah, you know it's going to be a fabulous evening when the beers are numbered. Yeah. Yeah, it's something that usually people come in, they go, nah, I'm just going to have one. And you go, well, no, not tonight, because they're numbered. And 1 is just where we're going to start. So we've got, get ready with beer number 1, get your barbecues going. Now, I know a lot of you have bid on silent auctions prizes, and we've got that. We've got a lot of great, I'm just going to get my phone out here. A Sonosphere speaker you can bid on, Heartbeat hot sauce company hot sauce box, a butcher box, a box of meat, Cured with pods, I love that, Noble Estates wine basket, a fidget pad and activity kit, Dickinson barbecue, a spice basket, thank you very much for that, digital escape experience from Escape Manor, Sense Able, an activity box, 25 Cats Clay Activity with dinosaurs, and 25 Cats Clay Activity with a unicorn. We've got Active Bingo, La Ferme River Game Farm. I apologize for that one. I left French in grade 10. The Autism Advocate Parenting Magazine, and the Autism Advocate Parenting Magazine. So we've got a number of issues of that. That is part of the silent auction. Now, bidding can go on until 9 p.m. That's when it closes down. Plus, we've got a lot of raffle prizes that have been donated by Farmway Farms, Papa Earth, and Samsung. And we've also got multiple giveaways throughout the evening. So enough of my babbling. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to introduce the Executive Director of Autism Ontario. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Margaret Spolstra.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Evan, and thank you and all the team who's online behind the scenes tonight. who scrambled at the last minute to try to figure out how we can do this. And, you know, people just step up, and we're so grateful for that. But mostly we're grateful to you. So as Evan said, we've got our beer, and I've got my husband here who's going to do our. And the reason you came here tonight, I know, of course, is because we have great beer and food and ideas to talk about here this evening. But mostly, I really want to thank you because you're here to support adults who are autistic and their families. Our province spends money on children and their families, which is important. And we've made some great strides. But in supporting our adults as they transition from those high school years into adult life is a really tough experience. And the supports are just not there. So we are doing our very best to do with what we can with fundraised dollars, like an evening like this, to make sure that we have opportunities both to speak about that publicly, to offer evenings of support and access to people. And you're going to hear about that from two of our staff members in a little bit, who are going to tell you more about that. And the people who are affected means to become an adult when you're on the autism spectrum, and the families who support and love them. So thank you so much for being here again and for your support. And I'm going to turn it back over to Evan, because I know it's going to be a great evening. And again, thank you, each one of you, wherever you are on your screens, that you decided to spend a beautiful sunny evening with us. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mark. Thank you so much. And, you know, it's, as you were saying, there's so many people in the background, not only from Autism Ontario, but also many of the sponsors tonight. And I just like to thank them. And we've got our title sponsor is Berkeley, Canada. And we thank you very much. The Pit Boss sponsors are WM&A, Desjardins, and the law firm of McDonald, Sager, and Manes. The Power Cook sponsors are the Carpet Factory, Eclipsis, AMR Information Systems, Beanfield, and the Sensed family. So we thank you very much for all of your support to help bring all of this together this evening. Yes, a round of applause for all the sponsors, just adding to it. That is my cat in the background. She's, if you can hear that, this is all something that's been going on, of course, since we've all been doing all these Zoom meetings and fundraisers, because we all of a sudden see what goes on in people's homes. And so that's just my cat. She's wonderful, and she's upset because I didn't let her take the car. So we are going to move on now. And as Margaret was saying, we're going to have a few speeches from some folks at Autism Ontario. So I'd like to introduce first Toby McEvenu, and of the Adult Services Coordinator, followed by Stacy Feld, the Transition Support Specialist. So I'd like to introduce Toby. Toby, come on to the screen.
Thanks, Evan. Hi, everyone. I'm Toby. I've been with Autism Ontario for about 4 years as the Adult Support Coordinator, and working to try to create some services and supports for adults at Autism Ontario, because it's been about children for a long time, and we wanted to make a concerted effort. So some of the fundraised dollars that we get are meant to help create programs that don't exist or fill gaps in the services that we see. One of those we wanted to highlight tonight, myself and my colleague Stacy Felt, to highlight Apex Academy Online. They have been our academic partner since about November 2020, I'd say. We've been working together to help create a free online platform to help people in the early stages, people on the spectrum in the early stages of career development. And we're trying to kind of bring everything together on that platform so they can view it on demand for free. You can do so with loved ones or with career counselors as well. And you don't have to register. There isn't a specific time for registration. You can do it whenever you want, whenever you're comfortable. And we also have a module for employers. So this is also to support employers who are interested in hiring folks on the spectrum or neurodivergent talent, finding ways and learning the ins and outs, maybe some supports required to enhance your understanding and confidence to do so. And it's our hope that money raised along the long term that we'll be able to further develop more courses in the future. But for right now, we have 3 modules. One is about job readiness, the first one. The second one is about interviews, learning to interview. And then the third one is specifically for employers, what employers need to know. Linda, I don't know if you want to share the screen. We have an image just so you can see it's in the process. We're hoping to launch this in probably in the midsummer or fall. It's just a screenshot, so you can't really access it right now. That's what it'll look like, and you'll be able to click on the module 1 for job readiness. It has a description of what to expect. And this is the landing page. It'll take people to a free subscription, not subscription, a free login where they can access that. You want to skip to the second slide, Linda? Thanks. Stacey, you want to talk?
Sure. This is just a snippet of the homepage of the modules. So the education course, APEX, that we're talking about, this is like kind of like one of the first things that you'll see. So we wanted to give you just some sort of idea of what you're actually supporting. And as you can see on the side, there's discussions, quizzes. There's a lot of things to help you learn and help people learn. And as mentioned, there's also the employer module, which is specifically module 3.
So yeah, we just wanted to give you a little peek at what some of the fundraised dollars can do. And we're hoping again to have this launched and available. And I'm sure folks, if you're interested at all, you can always reach out to myself or Stacey at Autism Ontario. If you have any questions, it's TOBI, my first name, at autismontario.com.
Mine's STACEY at autismontario.com.
That's it. Thanks, everyone.
Have a nice night.
Enjoy your chicken.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Toby and Stacy, for that, and of course the programs. And please do go online and check all the services that are available at Autism Ontario, and certainly there to help you along and for your benefit. So now what we're going to do, we're going to have the first draw of the night. Now this draw it's the way it was picked. It was a random draw, and it was picked by someone online, Julie Densham. And so Julie picked these winners for the draw, and there are 3 draws: a $300 box of ribeye steaks, my goodness, from Farmway Farms, and it's delivered right to your door. You don't even have to move anymore. It's wonderful. They just you win, and they bring steaks right to your door. How great is that? So that is going. Now you have to be in attendance to win. So when I say the winner's name, please make yourself known either through the chat or to someone whose screen that we might find you on, because there's many of you. So please make yourself known, and we will get that, and everybody will stand up and cheer and wait with you when you get your $300 worth of ribeye steaks from Farmway Farms. And the winner is of this first raffle, Diane Campbell. Diane Campbell. Diane, are you here with us? And even if you unmute yourself and
I'm here.
a voice from the ether. Diane is, oh great. So you just won $300 of ribeye steak.
Wow, fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, and they're going to bring it right to your door. So just take a lawn chair out front right now, Diane, and keep your camera on so you can watch them. Just back it up to your That's like
And share your
more
address.
meat than Fred Flintstone. And share your address and let all of us know where you are. And we promise not to arrive until after midnight.
Great.
So that's the first winner. So Diane, good stuff.
Thank you. To buy a bigger
Very
barbecue.
good. Yes, Diane, do you have a barbecue? Is that what somebody asked there? If Diane's got a way to cook all of this meat. Okay, so Diane, the first winner, and we're just going to check you off. You are here. You are in the books. All right. Now we're going to move on to the part of the evening that you are also here for. Of course, we're raising money for the adult support programs. We are going to get to the and we have two very special guests. One that I mentioned earlier on at the top of the event, and his name is Chris Goddard, and he is the co-owner of the Craft Brand Company, and they will tell you all about what they do at that fabulous company. And with Chris, the man who is, wow, he is a self-professed beer nerd and a lover of all things beer, which tells me right away that his guidance counselor in high school was way cooler than mine. That's the kind of guidance counselor you want in high school. And they go, you know what, you can just drink beer for the rest of your life. Now he is a Prud'homme certified beer sommelier. So, and he currently holds the position of Western Ontario marketing manager for Craft Brand Company. Please welcome Craig Nelson and Chris Goddard.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I will clear up right off the hop that he's not self-professed. He is fully ordained as a beer nerd. There is no questioning whatsoever on his, it's not him saying it, it's everyone, his family, random people on the street. He is a beer nerd. He is who, I've been in the beer business for 20 years and I turn to Craig for my nerdy beer stuff when I need it. So he's our beer nerd.
When we have team meetings, you know, most of the team gets a little, you know, starts rolling their eyes because Chris and I will start just geeking out over beers we've had over the weekend or stuff we found online that we want to try. And we go really deep down the rabbit hole some days. And we've actually cleared the room. We've been left talking and nobody else is there. But, you know, that's all good. Evan, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. As we heard earlier, unfortunately, there was a family emergency for Lori and she wasn't able to join us tonight. I am going to try and take on the role of barbecue expert as well. That's why I've got Chris here. Chris is our resident barbecue expert, cooks for us at every chance he gets. His beef brisket is something else. So yeah, tonight it's just, you know, it's a fun night. It's barbecue and beer. It's something to be enjoyed. You know, we're having great weather here in Ontario now. So yeah, basically what we're going to do is kind of talk about beer and food pairings. You know, the goal is always to select beers that enhance what you're going to eat. You know, they're going to augment the flavor of the dish. They're going to augment the flavors of the dish is going to augment the flavors of the beer, and it makes beer a little bit more accessible for people. You know, the characteristics of beer and food pairings, there's three things that really make this possible, and that's, you know, complementary flavors, contrasting flavors, and flavors that cut through the meal. And, you know, throughout the evening, as we go through the beers, you know, we'll talk about those different components. But I'll start off just with complementary. Our first beer of the night really hits the complementary label very, very well. A complementary pairing is a beer and a dish that are very similar in the flavor profile. So in other words, you know, they share some of the same characteristics. When you pair that kind of beer with the food, it draws out similar flavors in the food. So bringing those to the forefront, like I said, a good example is a lager, or a wheat beer would be another really great example of a complementary beer. And when you pair them with something like a salad, your starter, lagers will have sometimes have a little bit of a peppery note in the finish of the beer. They're very crisp, they're very clean. You'll get a lot of like bready notes from a lager. And a wheat beer has some of those very same notes, but they also tend to have a little bit of citrus in there as well. And so that peppery, citrus, bready notes really draw out the lightness. They emphasize the lightness of the salad, and both the beer and the salad can really be enjoyed, and they don't take away anything from each other.
Yeah, and I see a few of you folks out there, aprons on, grill at the ready. I just want to make sure everyone has put their chicken in for marinating. I know the recipe says chicken breast, boneless, skinless. Myself, I see that. Anthony, I saw, and I see Marie, though Marie might be off to the side. I see the Weber kettle there getting fired up. But make sure you have your chicken in the marinade right now, because that is probably going to be the first thing you're going to be putting on, because the bruschetta will happen quite quickly. But the chicken will be the thing that you're going to want to cook. And when Craig was talking about the lager, it makes me think of those of you, and I can't see everyone's grill, but there is people who cook on charcoal, and then there's other people. But there's people who cook on propane. There's people who cook on pellets, which is, if you look behind Craig there, he has a pellet smoker. I myself have a Primo smoker grill, which is a Commodore style smoker, a big green egg, if folks have heard of that style before. And a lot of people are intimidated by charcoal because they say, oh, charcoal, I don't know, it's not that easy, it takes a long time. And when Craig talks about complementary beers, lighting a charcoal grill is one complementary beer worth of time to light your charcoal grill. So for those people who are worried about charcoal takes too long, charcoal takes one beer to light. And I know, looking around the people with their cameras on, you each have one extra beer in you. I know you all, maybe a light little crispy boy, which is what we refer to some of our lagers, but you all have one more beer in you. And that is the difference between charcoal and gas grilling. And then the net benefit, obviously, with charcoal is you get that char-broiled taste to it. You get that hint of smokiness to it, depending on the charcoal you do. You can certainly bring those flavors in with a little smoker box and a gas grill, and you can get some of those smoky flavors. You can emulate a similar flavor to either a pellet smoker or a charcoal grill. But for those of you, and I see some charcoal grills out there, I see some kettles, Weber kettles out there, of people doing charcoal. But for those intimidated, you can do it, and it is one more beer in your barbecue day. So just to add some context there. And I usually use this Gator Lager is perfect for that. The proportion is right, but it's also from an alcohol percentage, it's a light beer. And so when you're out there kicking the tires pre-dinner, trying to figure out lighting the barbecue, and whoever is doing the grilling, no earmuffs. Whoever isn't doing the grilling, earmuffs. But for the people who are actually doing the grilling, make it look really difficult. Standing there, rubbing your head, but really you're just drinking beer. It's watching water boil. You're just waiting. You're waiting for the grill to light. But that is for me. I know my dad. It's funny. I talk to my dad. Everyone has different ways of de-stressing at the end of a day, and mine is barbecuing. I'm in the beer world. I live a double dream. I leave the beer world to go barbecue more times than not. And my dad, I remember he worked in engineering and then EMS in his career. And his way of unwinding was cutting the lawn. That is not my way of unwinding. I am sure there's some people out there that cutting the lawn is your way of transitioning to the weekend. That is not my way of transitioning to the weekend. That is like this a stressful part of the weekend for me, of having to cut the lawn, and I have a small Toronto lawn. For me, it is that taking the time to light the charcoal grill, knowing that you can't speed this up. It is crack a beer, sit back, wait for it to get to temperature, enjoy your beer, and transition away from your workday. And so I am a big fan of the charcoal grill. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the time. It breaks up your day, it interrupts your day, it causes you to stop and, just wait. So, but make sure you have your chicken marinating. You probably should have had your chicken marinating. I know Lori, her instructions said about 2 hours. You can do it in less than that for sure. 30 minutes, I think, would be just fine for marinating the chicken. A lot of you would have created the marinade beforehand. The buttermilk is interesting in that, and you see buttermilk used in a chicken marinade usually when you're doing some coating, and it adds a really nice texture to the chicken. Actually, if you do use the plain yogurt instead, if you don't have buttermilk, or sometimes I use kefir, which is like a drinkable yogurt that has kind of a sour buttermilk texture to it, also great for pancakes. If you don't have that, you can also dilute the yogurt a little bit with some of the Zodiac. Don't be afraid. It's okay to help you coat it, because some yogurt can be thicker than others. Certainly, some of those high-fat Greek yogurts can be a little bit thicker. And so, if you're looking for coating, you can introduce a little bit of that Zodiac to make it a little bit more soluble. Craig, you have the chicken already marinating too, did you?
Chicken's already marinating. I've had it in, it's been a couple hours now, so just about ready to throw it on the grill and start it cooking. I just pulled the bruschetta off the grill. So I'm definitely ready to try some of that out.
Oh, you did the bruschetta as an appetizer.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it as a complimentary to the main course.
I'm on beer number 2 already, so.
Oh my goodness, you're onto the Bianca.
I'm on to the Bianca already. Needed to have a little bit of it to make the marinade. Actually, before we get into that, sorry, I just see someone walking up here, so I just want to introduce someone really quick. This is my son, Riley, and Riley is the reason that I'm here tonight. Riley, when he was young, was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Autism Ontario has put on so many great events and so many great speaking engagements, and really allowed my wife Kelly and I to learn how to advocate for Riley through school. And starting, he's graduated high school now, which is, he's done tremendous work there. And this fall, he's going to be starting his college career at Mohawk in the photography program. Riley actually had 2 of his photos in the silent auction that was done earlier this month. So I just wanted to get him out. He can try a little bit of the bruschetta, and obviously I just wanted to, get him on camera and introduce him to everyone, and do the whole parent thing and a little bit of bragging about how proud I am of my boy Riley. All right, go.
Nice.
Get inside. Beers are out here. You're not ready to drink yet.
Quick question out there from Nancy. And toss up between Chris and Craig. Just, is there, can you think of anything else non-dairy? What else? Nancy's asking, what else can be used instead of buttermilk or any dairy additions? Is there anything you could suggest?
Buttermilk's a very difficult. There's plenty of dairy substitutions for buttermilk, and creating your own buttermilk is obviously an option by adding a little teaspoon of lemon juice to regular milk and creating a buttermilk substitute. There isn't a lot of non-dairy substitutes that I know for buttermilk, but you can skip the buttermilk step, and it won't. So the buttermilk is going to add a certain amount of texture to your chicken. It's also going to help a little bit when you're tossing and dressing it in the rest of the ingredients. But you could skip it. It's not 100% necessary if buttermilk isn't an option for you. And then just skip that step and use the seasoning as a dry brine instead. So you would just include some of that and some of your mixture on it beforehand. You wouldn't want to leave it for 2 hours at that point. You would want to just coat the chicken in it, and maybe a light neutral oil, so some of the canola oil beforehand, and then put the seasoning right on the chicken breast at that point and just leave it there. But it is you can skip it if that's a concern for you.
Chris, is it possible to use, because I've seen yogurts made out of coconut milk. Would that be something that could be?
You could certainly do that. Yeah. I mean, I've never done that, but you certainly could. And the texture would be similar. What you're not going to get is the same pH level. So
Okay.
That's what you're looking for. That
really nerdy here.
Yeah, you're looking for a little bit of that slight acidity on in the buttermilk side. So if you're doing the coconut milk, then I would add a teaspoon of lemon juice in there. You'll have to give it a good waz, because the lemon juice might not emulsify as easily into the coconut oil.
Okay.
So you might have to be a little bit vigorous with that mixing to make sure you can emulsify it in and get the texture you're looking for. But yeah, that's a great idea, actually, coconut milk. And it would be a pretty complementary flavor, because the Zodiac itself, which you're adding in, is a very citrusy beer, and you're only going to get a hint of the Zodiac come through in the final product, but that citrus and coconut would be a very, very complementary flavor. So 100% you could do that. That's a great idea. I might try that.
Thank you. Great. All good.
I see people coming up with the same idea of the coconut milk. Yeah, it would. It's a great idea. Oat milk too. You could try that. I would just be cautious, and any of the other substitute milks like oat milk or anything like that, to make sure you don't get one that is a flavored version. So I know sometimes those can be vanilla flavored or not necessarily plain. They have some kind of flavoring to it, and I wouldn't be keen on anything that has a vanilla flavor in this particular iteration. I don't know that it would have the same effect at the end of the day. But certainly, if you had something that is a natural flavor or plain flavor, then I think you could definitely go in. What's it tasting like, Craig? How do you like your bruschetta?
The bruschetta is great. Lori's recipe, using the fresh mango in there, obviously to highlight the mango Bianca that we're pairing with it. The bell peppers are really, really nice. It really has a nice, the bell pepper has a nice contrast with this beer. You get, Chris and I obviously will know this beer. The Bianca Mango Lassi Goza was actually, the recipe was created for this to mimic the traditional Indian mango lassi creamy dessert. So there's fresh mango in here, and we use all fresh purees when we're brewing beers. We don't go with juices or sugary extracts. When we say there's a fruit in a beer, there is a lot of fruit in this beer.
In this case, actually, as much fruit as there is malted barley. No word of a lie. Like, it is Omnipollo. It goes to what I would refer to as astronomical levels of fruit additions. Like, they really don't. They get the credit card out, that's for sure. Or we get the credit card out in this, because we brew it here in Ontario for them. But it is it is real fruit purees, and they are a significant player. The one thing that Goza would have, and I'm sure you're going to talk about this, is a little bit of brininess to it. So a little bit of saltiness that comes through, which is the Goza style usually denotes that you have some kind of saltiness or brininess coming through. Some of you may have a hard time picking it out because it is so mangoey, but there is obviously, if you're sensitive to salt, you'll taste it. But if you're not, look for a salty, briny balance to it, which is there to add some balance to the tartness, add some balance to the sweetness, and bring a full rounded palate to the experience for you. It's a beautiful beer.
I definitely think with this pairing, and the way Lori's put together the seasoning and the marinade for the bruschetta, I find that it actually draws a bit of that brininess out in the beer for me. So like,
And
as
good
Chris
with the
was saying,
tomatoes. It'll be good with tomatoes too. Like
Yeah,
that brininess would be very complimentary.
potato and the pepper with the brininess is fantastic with this beer. So
One thing
goes
I was just going to say, one thing I noticed in the dressing, if some of you are making the dressing, the one thing I noticed is I would try a tablespoon, or actually not a tablespoon, just a teaspoon of Dijon in the dressing, just to add a little bit more zing to it. And also with the oil, and I know it's at a quarter extract virgin olive oil, I think it's quarter cup of virgin olive oil. The Dijon will also help with you when you're blending that dressing together to emulsify and stay in suspension and not separate. Anyone that makes their own dressings at home will probably know that trick, but mustard is a really good assistant in emulsifying, and I use the Dijon myself quite often, and you don't need a ton of it, but the Dijon added in there would also add a little bit of zing to it. And you're looking for zing in this, right? We're looking for some big pops of flavor, because when you're biting into that bruschetta with the way it's diced, you're gonna have a sweet explosion with the mango. You're gonna have with the bell pepper, you're gonna have a little bit of sweetness with that. So you're looking for these little pops and acidity with the tomato, the diced tomato. So these little complementary pops that are happening everywhere are gonna add little flavor explosions all over the bruschetta. And so feel free to play with it for sure. These are always only guidelines. And certainly when it comes to dicing and adding stuff on top of your bruschetta, I know my family particularly likes a little bit of cheese sprinkled on top of their bruschetta. So, you know, you can kind of have at it, you know, but totally the mango, the tomato, the beer in that in the dressing and the marinade, or the dressing in this case is going to really make some of those flavors pop. And I stopped talking just as Craig's mouth is full. If any of you were noticing, I was waiting for that perfect moment that Craig had taken a bite and then just kind of lob it back to him.
So Chris talked about a lot of the complementary flavors in this beer, and I just want to jump in on some of the contrasting stuff that I definitely get with this pairing. So contrast is the second step in food pairings, and contrast really occurs when the dish has two opposite flavor profiles when they're put together. With this, the great example of is the Parmesan cheese that's in the brine, and the extra virgin olive oil. The olive oil and the Parmesan really put a nice contrast with the tartness. It draws that salt out of the beer, so you get that contrast with the saltiness. And then this beer has the vanilla in it as well to give it a little bit of creaminess on the body, and that creaminess kind of will play with the dryness of the Parmesan. I use Parmesan, but any of the beers that or any of the cheeses that Lori had suggested would have that same sort of dryness in the cheese, and the creaminess from the vanilla would play off that very, very well. You also, contrasting can be done in a number of different ways. You just really want to think about the style of beer that you're drinking, whether it's going to be a fruited beer or whether it's something bold and hoppy like an IPA, and think of, what's going to work, what's going to bring bits out of each other.
I see Joni had some bruschetta cheersing up to the camera there. And there is nothing better than grilled bread. You have to watch it like a hawk, because on the medium high heat, which is the perfect heat, you're getting it ready for your chicken. The medium high heat is perfect, but it is you're done in seconds. Depending on how your deflectors are working on your grill, or how much flame you have underneath of it, you really are getting licks of fire up there, creating that charredness, and it can take anywhere from 15 seconds to 30 seconds aside, depending on how hot your grill is, to get the perfect kiss. And some people's palates are a little bit more charry than others. Some people like a little bit more char. I know when it comes to pizza, which when you have some pizza dough, is a more resilient dough for the charring action, whereas some of these French sticks and such you can get carried away a little bit on it. They are maybe a little bit less resilient because they're also going to smoke up or soak up some of that smoke as well, because they have a lot more air pockets in them.
You know, it's amazing because people are asking on the chat line here if, I mean, obviously they're loving the beers, but they, you know, folks, you can order, if you missed out the first time, you can order another beer box, and you'll get the beers, you'll get the spices, you get the glasses, you'll get all the goodies. So you can order that. And Linda, thank you very much for putting the link up for that. And also a question, can these beers be bought at the Lcbo?
So with the Bianca is one of our summer seasonal beers. So we use the Bianca line as a rotation throughout every 6 months. And Omni Pollo has actually created, I think, over 20 different recipes with this base, and using different fruits, different, we just did one in the winter that was a blueberry maple pancake version of this beer. There's a peanut butter and jelly version. There's an eggnog version. So every 6 months we have a new one coming out. The Bodega Lager, that's our little baby. That's you know, that's something that we always talked about in the office, about how great it would be to have our own little lager to drink when we wanted something just crushable and easy drinking. So one of the great things that came out of COVID was, as a company, we had time and we had space in the tanks, because, you know, we weren't selling a whole lot of beer to start when COVID started, but we had the time and the space, and, you know, the recipe was created, and we ended up with the Bodega Lager. So that one is available strictly online through our bottle shop. And then the Zodiac, which is the pairing for the chicken tonight, that one's always been our flagship beer. It's been in the Lcbo now almost 4 full years. We finally cracked the top 25 in Ontario craft beers with the Zodiac, which is fantastic. Most major Lcbos will have it. Some of the smaller ones maybe not, but, you know, ask the local manager or beer person there to start stocking it, and we'll be happy to send it off to them for sure.
And it'll be at Loblaws too. Any of the Loblaws stores that have it, it'll have it. It's funny, you know, we created that lager not because we had any place else to sell it except online, but we weren't really thinking about online first. We were thinking about, I don't like to buy beer. You know, we're in the beer industry, we brew beers, and we usually just take samples from the office. And so during COVID, when you're trying to isolate a little bit, we created the lager. Actually, we created one lager, but 3 different label designs. We sent out, because if we're going to do it, we might as well have fun. So we sent out creative briefs to 3 different designers saying, hey, for you, this is what we're looking for. And for you, this is what we're looking for. And for you, this is what we're looking for. Each a completely different brief, again, to have fun with it. And then we printed all 3 labels and put the same beer in all 3, just so that we could have some variety. But really, we just wanted something to crush. If anyone's looked at our website is a who's who of crazy beers. A lot of them hoppy, a lot of them insanely fruited, like a lot of them that are full of a lot of stuff. And not a lot of them are mega crushers. The Lurvig Helles out of Norway would be the one exception in the regular portfolio of beers that we had on there. A Helles is a really crushable lagered ale style of beer. But we didn't have any lagers, and we were jonesing for a lager, and so we created these little short cans of lager, mostly just to quench our thirst, and then if we sold a few, for sure. But it was mostly allergy of buying your own beers. And look at that, Craig has the chicken breast on, and you know what? Not to interrupt myself here, but I am want to do that because I am a chatty Cathy. I can see Craig has a thermometer in those chicken breasts there. And if I had one piece of advice, I'll give you 2 pieces of advice, 2 for the price of 1. But the number 1 piece of advice would be invest in a great instant read thermometer. It doesn't have to be the Thermapen. You're not a chef, but it has to be one of those fast reading thermometers. Craig benefits because his machine has a built-in grill temp thermometer fanciness. But if I could tell you, the one thing that turned me off chicken breast in particular, and the reason why I mostly cook with chicken thighs, is it was always overdone. It was always, the daylights were cooked out of it. But as soon as I started using an instant read thermometer, a fast read thermometer, chicken breast came back on the list. Because if you pull it when it's cooked, when you should pull it, like chefs pull it, you will find that chicken breast is absolutely delightful. If you pull it too late, it is everything everyone hates about chicken breast. I mean, I'm projecting for myself here, but chicken breast, I find, there's such a small area of like, and my mom, I grew up in Southwestern Ontario. My mom insisted that every meat be absolutely cooked thoroughly. So everything was dead on arrival, and the flavor was gone, the texture was dead, everything. So fish, chicken, those two things, if you want to pull, I know Lori says 165 on there, which is obviously the recommended for I believe the thigh meat. I think you could pull a little bit earlier on chicken breast meat, and certainly if you're going to foil it, you don't be shy to pull it a little bit sub 165 on that, so that it can finish cooking on the plate while you're doing some of the other things. But an instant read thermometer is #1 investment. The second thing I would invest in for those of you with barbecues is go to Costco. Costco, yeah, cast iron Dutch oven. One of those cheap and cheerful ones that you see sitting around there that you can use on the barbecue, because you'll find from cooking everything from bread in the cast iron Dutch oven to stews, braises, everything. Have something that you don't want the neighbors and guests to see, but can take a good char on the grill. That is an absolute positively beautiful tool for the grill. It really enhances the amount of things you can do on the grill by having one of those cheap and cheerful cast iron Dutch ovens. But the instant read is a must, and to make sure that you're pulling meat at the right temperature. And even though I fancy myself as a barbecue guy, and I know what my proteins are supposed to be cooked to, and I have the timing in my head, and I know my temperatures and everything, I probe everything. I probe everything because I want to know. I want to pull it at the right time. I want everyone to have a great experience. And so that's my amateur pro tip when it comes to seeing Craig with his fancy.
Bill's got.
Yeah, he's yeah, you're making us look bad there, Craig. You got equipment there. We don't know what's under the pool cover, what you're what you've got, what you're creating under there. It could be all beer. We don't know.
It is actually, we've made this into a big cool ship. So we're brewing some spontaneously fermented beers in there. It's not really a pool.
Okay.
But no, it's just a pool. This is my happy place back here. Like when I'm done, like Chris said, his happy place is grilling when he's done work. When I get off the road after a day doing sales or doing deliveries or whatever I'm doing that day, this is my happy place. It's affectionately known as the Hespeler Hideaway. Live in Hespeler. For those who don't know where Hespeler is, it's actually part of Cambridge. We were 3 small towns before there was an amalgamation, I think back in like 1967-ish. But for those who live in Cambridge, we all still say Preston, Galt, or Hespeler. But yeah, this is where we all hang out. This is where we have fun. We got a Galt person there. East side or west side? Got to know, Anthony.
Uh-oh.
East side or west side?
West side.
Oh, good man. All right.
What we're going to do, we're just going to give you and Chris a bit of a break and allow you to cook and prepare the next beer. I am going to give 2 more prizes away right now while you're cooking. Once again, the individuals have to be here and make yourself apparent, whether you just turn on your mic and give a shout out when you hear your name. And right now for now this is $150 worth of meat, and you get to choose the cuts of the meats. And so this is a great prize that you're going to get. And Christine Forget, where are you, Christine?
Evan, I think I heard you say that anything that no one claims goes automatically to Craig and I.
I did say that. It was part of the, it was, a lot of people didn't catch that. But I did say that. So what can I say? You guys enjoy the meat from Papa Earth, $125 worth of meat, a box of meat, and you choose, and they send it directly to your home. And so Christine Forget is, haven't heard from her yet?
Who? There.
Christine Forget.
Can you repeat that, please?
Christine Forget.
No.
Type it in the chat just for.
Yeah, anything
So
rhymes
are
with,
we redraw?
we will redraw. Rhymes with Kristen Shevchenko. Is that who it rhymes with? It sounds like it is a rhyme. What we're going to do?
Dancing.
Pardon?
Sorry, you can see him dancing in his camera.
Ah. Okay, now we are going to go on to the next individual. So what we're going to do, we're going to, that prize, the next, and the cat once again, Dominic Gentilini. Dominic, are you with us? For the $125 box of meat?
Do you want me to give you my name?
We're just, you know what? We're at that point of the evening. We're only 2 beers in. You Canadians are shocking me. We're 2 beers in, and my goodness, we're going to take our Canadian card. Well, if you're bringing friends.
I'm here.
Tanis
call my name.
Marcella. Tanis Marcella.
And
Tanis Marcella?
just- yes, and we're even doing the cooking and everything. Like, we are so with you.
Okay, you know what?
Miss
I'm
Carter.
making an executive decision. Look, and they brought in the pool boy.
That's right, he is. Come here, Justin. But more importantly, you've got to meet
Is the
Justin.
man of the hour.
Justin's the man of the hour.
Hi. Who is that? Oh, God.
Oh,
It's
God.
freezing.
How did that happen?
How are you, Justin?
Oh, there you go. Come back.
Oh, come back
I'm
here.
good.
Over
Great,
here.
okay.
I'm good.
Tanis?
Yes.
Where's Tanis? Okay, Tanis, you just won yourself a box of meat.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that is from the folks at Papa Earth. And you get to choose the meat that you want, and they will deliver it right to your door. Okay, now Tanis, your screen froze there a bit, so we're going to hope that you come back to us quickly. You just won a prize, and then immediately your screen froze. So we're going to do that now. The final prize of the first round, we are going to have, it's a $200 Samsung tablet. $200 Samsung tablet. And
Anybody?
the winner, oh, hi, Tanis, you're back for more.
Oh, yes, we are. Justin actually need a Samsung tablet. He doesn't have his own tablet.
Yeah, I can't keep giving it to you and the pool boy. You've got trade some of the meat in. You're getting meat, so we're going to we're gonna move on. You're on everybody's screen. This is fabulous the way you've taken over. It's great. You've just taken over the thing like Bond villains. Is what's happened. You're just taking over the whole screen. Okay, we're going to give away a Samsung tablet. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask a question that cannot be answered by anybody in Tanis's house. And the question is, where does and the first person to shout it out, so you can turn on your mics. The first person to shout out, where does Craig Nelson live?
Hespler.
There you go, Anthony. Anthony jumped right in there. Anthony, you just won a Samsung tablet.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's now see, the meat got delivered right to the door. I don't know how you're going to get the tablet, but you can talk to folks at Autism Ontario, Anthony, and they will find out how to get the tablet to you.
Perfect. I'm sure it'll be stolen by my son.
Oh, well, okay. Well, as long as the police know where to look first. That's the important thing. That's the important thing.
Have a good rental program set out. You know, lay out some good foundations. This could be a moneymaker for you.
Yeah, that's right. I love it. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Chris and Craig, and we will be back. We're just going to keep cooking this fabulous food and hearing about these amazing beers. And I love the fact that it's all Ontario that we are not only talking to, but the companies that are online with us here, the folks that are online. This is Ontario come to life in the fabulous weather. And you know, some of you are out there cooking and you're braving ticks and black flies and goodness knows what else that we get thrown at us at this time of year. But we thank you very much. Hockey pucks, everything. Yeah, hockey pucks, everything. Whatever's coming our way, we'll handle it. So you folks keep bidding online. That the silent auction closes at 9 o'clock, and lots of great stuff on there. Congratulations for the first set of winners. Some of them surprise winners. Some of them just broke through the door and took what they wanted, and that's what's going on during the pandemic. So I'm going to turn it back over to Chris and Craig, and we're going to keep drinking and we're going to keep cooking.
So most of you, I think, have probably started grilling your chicken. I know Craig told you to grill the chicken. If you haven't already, grab your Zodiac out of the frigo and give it a crack. I know you would have already cracked it because you had to include it in the marinade for the chicken. But if not, Craig is going to walk you through what you are tasting in a Zodiac.
Okay, so our third beer, our final beer for the night tonight.
Okay, I need to interrupt for a second. What needs to be included with the Zodiac for the chicken?
Oh, how much Zodiac, or what do you need to include in it?
I was just getting the chicken ready for the grill, and
okay.
I feel like I missed a cue. You said if it's not included, include it. What was that?
You are putting the Zodiac in with the chicken marinade. So you need to before you drink it, all the Zodiac, you need to make sure you save 2 tablespoons for the marinade in the chicken.
Okay, I got that.
Which could be like 2 mouthfuls. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you measure, but
well, you could have used a little bigger print on the can, to be honest. Like seriously.
We'll say for those of you that are still following along and grilling along, when you're doing the veggies, when you get to the veggie stage, add a little bit more canola oil in with your veggies so that the number 2 seasoning sticks to the veggies for the grilling. So toss them in there, add a little oil in there, and then toss the number 2 seasoning in with the veg so that it all sticks together and gives you what you're looking for. But yeah, for the chicken marinade, you just need 2 tablespoons of Zodiac. If you want to be stingy, 1.5. I don't know.
Stingy.
You know, I'm personally all of the Zodiac goes in my mouth, but you should save a couple of tablespoons. Like,
so I'll jump back in now. We're on to the Zodiac, and I'm going to talk to you about the final component of pairing with beer. So the trait that really sets beer apart from wine and spirits is that it has an ability to cut through a dish. Wines will complement, wines will contrast, but you're never really going to get a wine that is able to cut through some of the dishes. Basically, it's because of the hops and the presence of the carbonation in the beer. And the best example of a cut, the simplest example of a cut, would be pairing an IPA with, you know, what we're cooking tonight with the chicken. It's going to cut through some of that. Not the chicken's an overly fatty meal, but it'll cut through a little bit of the fattiness of the chicken. My favorite example is drinking Belgian beers. A Belgian triple is a beautiful beer to drink. And when you drink that and you have some cheeses like Gorgonzola or a blue cheese, again, they're very fatty cheeses, the carbonation from the beer will scrub that off the palate. So normally the cheese will kind of linger. It kind of feels like it's kind of stuck to your mouth. Once you have your beer, that washes it, clears it off, and allows your palate to be ready for the next bite of food or the next, if you're changing the food, you're pairing it with, maybe looking at the complement or the contrast in the other food pairings. But yeah, that's really the great thing about beers is beer has been underrated for such a long time. You know, we've always been very used to the, not that there's anything wrong with the big macro brands. They brew their beer very well, but we've always been used to just drinking these lagers that are light and easy drinking and mass produced. But when you get back into like the old country of Europe, you get into Belgium, you get into Germany, you get into Czechoslovakia, you get into all these places that have been brewing beers for, 200, 300, 400, 500 years. And the knowledge that they have and the care and the love that they put into beer really allows for all these little nuances to come out. And honestly, I will argue with wine people that, beer is the best beverage to pair with food. It doesn't hold a candle to wine. Wine is, if there's any wine lovers out there, sorry if I offend you, but wine is basically water and grapes. It's 2 ingredients. When you get into beer, you've got hops, and with hops, there's honestly, I don't know, Chris, what do you think? Like 200-300 different kinds of hops available nowadays?
Well, like it's no, like 2,000-3,000 versions. I think I was on a call with New Zealand Hops the other day, and I think New Zealand alone has like a couple of hundred varieties of hops, subtle iterations. So you have like families of hops, and you have like certain ones that we all know and love, but there's so many hops out there, ranging from earthy hops to citrus hops to spicy hops. I mean, there's a hop for every day of the week times 10. It is astounding. But the thing about beer is very complementary with food, because with wines, red wines, you have a lot of tannins to deal with, which is very difficult in a broad scope. It's very difficult to pair with, because tannin is tannin, and it adds that puckering flavor to your mouth, the puckering sensation to your mouth for the mouthfeel, but also adds that to that whole experience. It can be very wily to pair with. You have some fattiness that comes in when you pair it, like the famous pairing of red meat with red wine. But if you don't have something unctuous and fatty to help clear off those tannins in your palate, it can be difficult. And same with white wine. When you have a lot of acidity in white wine, no matter what kind of floral aspects are brought to the forefront and fruity aspects brought to the forefront with white wine, there still is quite a high amount of acidity that comes through with white wine, which makes it hard to pair with. Because when you're looking at these complementing and contrasting flavors, wine is usually cutting. Like you find wine ends up cutting through your palate and resetting your palate, and it's beautiful for that. But complementing, it can be very difficult to do. It is very good at cutting, but not great at complementing. And contrasting, again, contrasting is quite easy to do because you're looking for opposite flavors in things. But opposite flavors doesn't mean just pair any old opposite flavor together and look for the magic to happen. It doesn't work that easily because you can make contrasting flavors and they don't work together at all. It's actually one of the hardest aspects when Craig and I are talking about, or anyone's talking about doing flavors. Contrasting flavors that work together with food is one of the hardest things to do, because without them each sitting on opposite ends of the flavor bench, and you're like, yes, I taste that, and yes, I taste this, that doesn't mean they're working together. They should work together. These flavors should come together to elevate each other to another level. So when you take a sip of beer and take a bite of food, the food should elevate the beer to another level. And when you do it the opposite direction, it should do the opposite thing. It should take the beer to the other level. It's a very, very difficult thing, but complementary and cutting are both, you can do that. You can experiment on your own and find great successes. And certainly you can experiment with any beers. Beer is cheap and affordable, and always experiment with beer. I just want you to drink beer. I don't care if it's my beer or anyone's beer. Experiment with beer.
The thing that I love about what Lori did with this pairing and with this recipe is whether you use buttermilk or whether you use the yogurt, there's that inherent sweetness and creaminess to that ingredient. And with the Zodiac, because of the hops that are used, you get that very firm bitterness in the beer, but there's also that citrusy punch. And while there's some complementary things going on in there, that citrus and the bitterness really washes away any of that creaminess that would linger on the palate. And I think, that's one of the things that Lori does so well with her recipes. And I wish she was able to be here tonight to talk to you guys about it. And I think we're going to try and set something up at a later time, maybe just to do like a little video Q&A and barbecue and recipe talk. But one of the things she really does when she creates her recipes, she doesn't just cook with beer. She really looks at how that beer is going to affect the other ingredients in the seasonings and the other ingredients in the overall dish. So it's not like she's just pouring some stout in with a beef dish. She's really thinking about how everything works together. And I guess, at the end of the day, with the whole pairing concept and the complement, contrast, and cut, if I could leave you with a final word of advice for anything, is to try and match the strengths in your beer and your food. That's really the key. You don't want to serve like a light, crisp beer like a Pilsner with a really heavy, hearty dish like a beef stew. You'll lose the beer. You won't taste it. It'll be gone. The rich stew will really overpower the beer. So when you're cooking with beer or when you're pairing with beer, is you really want to look at the strength of the beer and the strength of the food. And that's the first thing you look at. So whether it's a lager with a salad, whether it's a fruited beer with something, grilled and toasted and beautiful like the bruschetta, or whether it's an IPA with the light chicken and the creaminess and the sweetness of the marinade. It's really looking at those strengths. And there's, at the end of the day, your imagination really is the only limit to your pairings. There are so many cool beers out on the market. I've been able to experience so many great beers working with craft brand company. And, in my 20 plus years in the beer industry, I've been able to, try a bunch of different stuff. So there's so many great things out there. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to try big and boozy. Don't be afraid to try sour. Don't be afraid to try bold and hoppy. there's going to be a beer for everybody. And at the end of the day, if somebody asks you, you know, what's the best beer to drink? My answer is always whatever's in the glass in front of you. You know, there's never a right or a wrong answer to that. It's whatever, you know, whatever's in your glass, whatever floats your boat, and that's what you enjoy. You know, love it, own it. You know, if you're a, you know, crazy, you know, craft beer person, great. If you love your, you know, Pabst Blue Ribbon, great. It's whatever you enjoy. Drink up, and always do it safely, but drink up and enjoy the beer.
100%.
Great. Thanks, Craig. And once again, the folks, that if you have not got your beer bundles yet and you really want to get in on this, you've got until June 30th before you can, and you're able to order the bundles once again. The link has been put up. Linda's put up the link. Thank you very much for doing that, Linda. And oh, Michael says he's never met a beer he didn't like, and that's that's a bumper sticker right there. Right now, we're going to we've got some gift cards to give away and participation prizes, and that's what they are from Papa Earth. We have 5 $50 gift cards to give away for the folks that are participating, and we're going to start with Scott, who's got the iPhone. He's wearing an apron. Scott, are you still there? Waiting to hear from Scott. Okay, we're going to keep going, and maybe Scott will show up, or we'll have another participation prize to go. Marie-Claude, she's barbecuing for barbecuing.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay. There's there's okay. Okay. You've got a $50 gift card coming your way from Papa Earth. So thank you. Yeah, cheer up. You got the Muskoka chairs going. You got the big drum. You're barbecuing with the drum. Way to go! You're doing it upright.
Yes, thank you.
We're doing it upright. Congratulations. And Natalie won for having for being the first one with a beer on the screen. Where are you, Natalie?
Right here.
I hope it's the right one. Is there more than one Natalie?
We don't know, but well, my notes just came up, Natalie, because she had the first beer on the screen.
That was me.
Okay, there you go. That's right. Take credit for it. A $50 gift card coming your way from Papa Earth. So that'll be winging its way towards you. Gerard, for his beer and barbecue apron. Where are you, Gerard?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh,
just had dinner.
Oh, okay. You're eating dinner. You want to turn on your camera and wave to everybody?
It's a bit messy right now.
We gave you a participation core. There you are. What's messy? You're not messy.
No, I'm just in there. I've just turned away the camera. My kids doesn't want to be a part of it, or my wife doesn't want to be part of it.
All right. Well, Gerard, you just won a $50 gift card. And
thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And apparently your wife is in the witness protection program, and you can share it with her if you wish. So Gerard, you've got that. Thank you very much for coming in. Now, who's being congratulated there in the background? What's that for?
Oh, my son had the graduation yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations all around for that. And also we have Eva Holterman. Where are you, Eva?
We're here. We're here.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hello. Now, is this the camera's looking a little close, Eva, right now, from what we're experiencing. You've got it right into your retina. I'm just hoping your camera's off, Eva, because if it's on, you're scaring the heck out of all the rest of us. And all these,
I'm really
whoa. Yeah, and you know what? To claim these prizes, just send an email to Julie at autismontario.com. And that way, Julie will be able to organize all the gifts. Now, we didn't get one. There's still one left. So, Scott, wow. Somebody liked the meal. Very cool. Good stuff.
Say, good stuff.
Who's this, Eva?
That's my grandson, Joshua.
Hey, Joshua. Is it a good dinner?
It looks like it to him. He's nonverbal.
The plate is pretty clean.
Yeah, he's loving this chicken, and he even had the bruschetta.
You get a thumbs up? Joshua, you get a thumbs up?
But he doesn't like beer, but we do.
So Lori, again, Lori couldn't be here, so I'll share a little bit of her story as well. Lori's daughter, Kaylee, is actually on the autism spectrum as well. Lori, that's her sort of link to this whole program. And her daughter is this beautiful little soul who is following her mom's footsteps and loves being in the, loves being in the kitchen, loves working on the recipes with her mom. From what I understand, has a pretty strong opinion about how things should be spiced already, telling her mom how to cook the food. So I think, she'll follow along in her mom's footsteps. But yeah, just another kid, and it's great to see young kids getting, into the kitchen and really, getting hands-on with stuff like that, because it's not, obviously, a lot of kids, whether they're on the spectrum, whether they're neurotypical, whatever, a lot of kids spend so much time now, video games or playing, and that's all great. But to see them doing, something like cooking, that was always one of my favorite things with my dad. That's where my love of barbecue came from. Watching my dad marinate big T-bone steaks in doing beer marinades, and so I kind of caught the bug early. But I love when I see kids, enjoying good food and just getting into the kitchen and doing all that. One thing I will say, sorry, Evan, didn't mean to not to cut you off too much. As far as contests go, we also have a contest going on right now at Craft Brand Company. So if you guys go to Instagram, for those of you who are on Instagram, find at Craft Brand Co. And we've got a contest going on, a Canada Day draw with one of our brewers, and it's Rally Brewing out of Thornbury, Ontario. And these guys are actually working really hard to make better beers for you. It's technically called functional beers. And, by that, these beers are brewed very specific reasons. They're brewed with electrolytes. Some of them are brewed with electrolytes to use as recovery beers instead of drinking like Gatorade or something sugary. You can reward yourself. A low-cal IPA, and they've also got a non-alcoholic beer that'll be available very soon. But the contest is fantastic. We're giving away a 24-pack of beer and a bicycle. And the bike is valued at, I think it's an expensive bike. I can't remember the price, but that doesn't really matter. It's a beautiful bike. It's great for getting around in the city. So go to our Instagram page, read the post, follow the instructions, and maybe, you'll have a brand new bike for Canada Day, which would be awesome.
In 2021, bikes are worth $1 million. This is what I'm hearing outside the. So
I almost want to.
It's essentially priceless.
The wood. The wood value's up pretty high right now. I said to my wife the other day, I might just take a section of the deck down and try and sell it on the black market. I don't know.
All right, we're going to find our fifth winner before we move on, and so you can all turn on your mics for this one. It's a question. The first person with the correct answer will be the 5th winner of a $50 gift card from the folks at Papa Earth. And the question is, what are we raising funds for?
Autism.
For the adult programs of autism.
Joni.
Adult programs.
Go.
Joni,
Autism.
where's Joni
Autism.
D?
Joni.
Joni D.
Hi,
There you are.
I'm here.
You're the first one. We were looking for the word adults. So it's yes.
Yep.
And Joni, this pump. And yeah, so just get in touch with Julie at just email Julie and she will get her card to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Evan, I got a good question if we have any more draws coming up.
Okay. You know what? We do not, but I'm sure we could figure out. We can give away something. There's got to be something out there that we can.
Or posterity, just the winner of the night. Just who's going
Okay.
to win the night.
Yeah, who's gonna win the night? Who's gonna walk away with the cup?
What are the 3 concepts of beer and food pairings?
Is this a yell out thing?
This is a yellow thing. Yell it out, folks. Come on.
Complimentary.
Compliment, contrast.
Compliment. Cutting. I don't know, contrast.
Hey, Wendy got it. There we go.
Wendy got it.
You can send me some beer.
Wendy, send us your address. We'll send you some beer.
Awesome. The blueberry is so good.
The person's like, oh my God, he's sending our beer away. No, send it.
That's okay.
Send us your address. We'll send you some beer.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
I know we sent out a few extra beers there for everyone in the boxes there. So there's a bunch of random beers that might have shown up outside of the ones that we were just featuring. So some of you may be confused, but if you have any questions about the other beers that came in your boxes, feel free to fire out at Craig either on the chat or just unmute and ask, what's this beer? I don't understand. It wasn't Zodiac, it wasn't Bianca, and it wasn't the lager. I saw someone talk about earlier the Tropicana, which is a citrus IPA, and that is from a brewery out of Baltimore that we brew up here in Ontario now. They have their own brewery down in Baltimore, but getting beer across the border can be challenging sometimes. Maybe a byproduct of having a province that was born out of Prohibition in 1929, and they're still running liquor control here. That might have something to do with it. But so the guys at Heavy Seas brought their people and their brain power up here to create the Heavy Seas Tropicana for this summer at the Lcbo, and we brewed it up here at our facility, Brunswick Beer Works. And same beers, same recipe, same everything, but
It looks like they had
fresh and lively, straight to your mouths. And I know a lot of people, if you're a beer nerd like Craig and I, will say that water obviously is a bit of an X factor in beer, and there's no two ways around that. Water breweries historically were built around sources of water because breweries use a lot of water to make beer, but they also use a lot of water to clean their vessels, to clean this, clean that. There's more, it used to be that the metric of water to beer was 7 liters to create 1 liter of beer. It's not that anymore. We have found far more efficient ways to do things, but still we're looking at anywhere from 2 or 3 liters of water to create a liter of beer. Some of that is lost to evaporation, but a lot of that excess water goes through the cleaning. But because we're using that much water, pulling water out of springs and other sensitive sources can somewhat be challenging when you're expanding your market. So what we try to do is what the English did when they were expanding their footprint is called Burtonizing beer. And Burtonizing means to emulate the water chemistry of Burton-on-Trent. And this was the first people who ever tried to do what we're talking about. Create the water in the place where you're brewing it not the place where you created it in the first place. And Burtonizing, they created, and that's a remineralization of water so that you have the hardness, the pH, everything of the original source. And so with Heavy Seas, that's exactly what we did, is recreated the water in Baltimore. So sans, maybe what some people might thinking it might be in Baltimore's water, I'm not sure, but recreating the water chemistry to make sure that that recipe tastes as fresh from Ontario as it does from their facility down in Baltimore. And so, and that is all science. It's completely duplicatable anywhere in the world. And really, to be honest, what we do at Craft Brand Company, when we bring breweries like Omnipollo from Sweden, Mikkeller from Denmark, Lervig from Norway, we create their water chemistry, recreate the best iterations of their beer. And I'm so proud to say that when Omnipollo, who is both Omnipollo and Mikkeller are rated top 10 breweries of the world. Out of the thousands and thousands of breweries in the world, they consistently rank in the top 10. And I'm very proud to say that they use our beer, Zodiac specifically, as the benchmark around the world for all of their partners, themselves included, as like the iteration of this is the best expression of this recipe. And same with our Bianca Mango Lassi. It has represented them around the world as the best version of their fruited beers that they've ever had. Yeah, and Oak's favorite, one of the co-founders. Like we are very, very fastidious. Our brewmasters at Brunswick, when Lodvig Swinkels, who's our brewmaster, is an 8th generation brewmaster. He was the brewmaster at La Trappe for 14 years. His family owns Bavaria Brewing. They have been brewers before most of us had family in Canada. Like, it is insane. And then Christian von der Heide, who is one of their operations advisors, is a 2nd generation brewmaster, but brewed Guinness at St. James Gate. Brewed Guinness, opened up Africa for Guinness. We have a team that can really lean into these complex, interesting beers and help elevate them to another level. And it's so awesome to see, to be honest. It's so awesome to see. It's so awesome to be part of it. But then the icing on the cake is all of these people are absolute all-stars. Like, they are so fun to hang out with. When Mike and I built this company, my business partner, we built it on principles of great beer, great brands, but the go no go of do we rep them or do we not is, can we sit down and have beer with them, and are they fun to hang out with and drink beers with? And every beer in our portfolio is people that are real, genuine, awesome people. They believe in what they do. They live by a higher standard. They adhere to all things that make people good people. And that is one of the main metrics in our brewery partners. And to be honest, everyone on our staff, we want to have great people on our staff, and we expect a higher level of engagement from people and a higher level of emotional intelligence than maybe some other companies. It's an X factor. You know, people are everything.
Yeah, the passion is definitely there, Chris. When we listen to you and Craig, and listen, folks, until June 30th, get in on the beer bundles, and you can order them. You get these great beers back into your home. Also, go on the website to craftbrandcompany.com and look at all the goodies they've got. It's like every day is Christmas to these guys, and I think every day is Christmas for folks. Before we head out for the evening, and once again, the silent auction closes at 9 p.m. and we've got lots going on there. We've got a short video just to show you. And about adults with autism. And I'm going to ask, your screen is going to be taken over. We're going to show the video and
Hi, my name is Nina Jane. I'm a mother of two beautiful boys. One of my sons is 19. My younger son is 17 years old, Liam. Say hi. Liam was diagnosed with autism at age 2. I was one of the lucky families who received ABA therapy for Liam. He had access to a lot of programs, and today, because of the access that he had to programs, he is an acclaimed artist. And that is why I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to talk to you about the need of adult programs for our kids who are teenagers and moving into adulthood, post 18 years old. 10% of adult kids with autism have the necessary independent skills to live by themselves. Imagine that, only less than 10%. That is why Autism Ontario adult programs are so important. They are addressing many of these issues like housing, independent skills, unemployment rates, many of the skills and skills necessary for our kids to learn in programs. And one of the great things about programs is this is where our children and kids can make meaningful relationships and find life partners. Government funding stops at the age of 18. And so we really, us parents, we rely on the donations and partnerships from people like you in the community. So please donate generously. Autism Ontario will use the money raised to create meaningful partnerships and to advocate for services and create programs that our kids need and that are a necessity for our kids to be independent and to live meaningful lives and happy lives. And that's all we want. We want happiness for our kids. Thank you.
thank you very much to Lena and Nina. And we, this is why you're raising the money tonight for the adult support programs that offer to you with Autism Ontario. And Liam and Nina really brought out some good points, and we certainly thank you all very much tonight. Before we go, Craig, Chris, do you have any last offers for us? We've learned a heck of a lot tonight. We've eaten well, we've drank well. We're happy Ontarians.
Pearls of wisdom.
I just want to say, congratulations to to all the winners of the draws tonight. It's been great seeing all these faces on our screen and everyone enjoying some great food and some great beers. Evan, thank you for hosting, man. It's been fantastic getting to know you, and to Monica and the rest of the team at Autism Ontario. Personally for me, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you for allowing me to be part of this event, allowing our company to to represent here, and to be a part of the fundraising we did back in April. That through our online sales. Obviously, it's super important to me. And I want to say thanks to Mike and Chris, who when I came to them with these ideas, they were like, yeah, man, just, run with it. Let's do it. There was never any hesitation from Mike and Chris to do this. And it's great working with a company like Craft Brand Co. I'm very grateful to work. It feels like working with family at the end of the day. And, we're all working in the beer industry, and things are meant to be fun and enjoyable and kind of light and breezy. And we all work hard, but at the end of the day, we all know, where Chris is sitting is our office. And if he turns his camera a little bit, you can he might be able to show you sort of a a little view of some of the perks we have. You know, we have the Golden Tee Golf there in the corner. You know, not that there's much surfing going on, but a great little surfboard. We got a great beer fridge in the office, and you know, it's like a little second home for all of us when we drop by. You know, anytime we're by the office, it's just it's a great place to work. So, you know, thanks for all of that. And again, you know, Evan, Monica, everybody involved, everyone who joined us tonight, you know, thanks for taking the time to do this. It's really awesome.
No, it's great. Thanks very much, Craig. That's just wonderful. It's really been a great night. I know Craig and Chris, you'll be hearing from a lot of us that, tonight possibly will be at your door. Tanis will be there, we know. And folks, on behalf of everyone at Autism Ontario, thank you so much. Once again, keep bidding on the silent auction items. Keep enjoying the fabulous food you've been eating and the beers you've been drinking and learning so much about. And listen, order more of those bundles till June 30th. So you've got another week to order a bundle. And I know you're going to be ordering more and more and more after the 30th. So folks, have yourself a great evening, a great summer, and please stay safe and well. And Marg, any little last words?
Thanks to you, Evan, and to Craig and Chris. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Such a fun night. So many lovely memories. So many lovely people.
This was awesome, you guys. Thank you.
I want to thank
you very
my
much.
wonderful friend Tanis for doing this, because it is only because of her that we are here. Thank you very much, Tanis. Thank you, Justin.
And here's Justin, the star of the night.
Justin.
Bye. Who's that?
That's the people that brought this whole thing
Brought this
together.
whole community together. It's absolutely wonderful to.
I threw my email up in the group chat. So if anyone does have any questions about beer and food pairings, you know, feel free to shoot me an email. I've always got time for that. I'm all, you know, might not get back to you. Wendy, don't forget to send me your information for the winning. Beautiful. Tanis, thank you so much. You've been like so involved in this. And, you know, thanks for doing that. Anthony, great seeing you out there, man. That's awesome.
The beer was awesome. We needed that.
I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. I love doing these sort of events. It's always nice just to get together, whether it's virtually. I mean, it's been virtually for almost the last 2 years now, but you know, it's always great just seeing some new faces and, you know, enjoying just a great chat with people and obviously a great cause tonight.
Thanks, Chris and Greg. I'll be buying another case of in your box there.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. That's great to hear.
I'll give the IPAs to somebody else, but I'll drink all the lagers in the world, my friend.
Not a big IPA fan.
No, sir. Sours and IPAs, no go for me, buddy.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you know, that's okay. That's okay. You know, there's the right beer out there for everybody. And, you know, sometimes it's trial and error trying to find the right one.
Oh, for sure. Can we do a tour of your brewery at all, or is that coming up soon with the COVID being done soon, or?
Hopefully once COVID's done. So we brew out of Brunswick Beer Works, which is in the east end of Toronto. It's technically not our brewery. Brunswick is probably the biggest contract brewer in Canada. So they brew for us. They brew for a bunch of other craft breweries, Lost Craft, Ace Hill, Bose. So they brew and package for a number of different people. So I'm not sure sort of what their plan is once things reopen, whether they're going to, immediately jump back to doing brewery tours again. But yeah, it's definitely something we can look at. I can talk to Monica, and I'll talk with Mike and Chris, and once the time is right, maybe arrange an event to be able to do something like that, do like a tour and sampling. But I mean, I honestly can't say yes or no for sure, because like I said, it's not really our brewery. We just contract them to brew for us.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity, and we'll stay in touch. I got Chris's email, so I'll let him know. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Have a great night.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Cheers.